Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I wanted to show you my kind of tiny, I think, fountain pen collection. I'm only going to go through my fountain pens, and I think I'm going to start with the ones in these boxes here, because these are all Twisbies, except for this one. So we'll leave my Twisbies for last, but I have two Sailor boxes here, and not all of them are Sailor pens. I think one of them is filled with Sailor pens, which are these, and then these guys are my first pens. So let's start with my first pens. Like the first fountain pens that I ever purchased were these guys. And I believe I purchased these two from AliExpress for like $9 each, and these are Picasso pens. I don't know like the number or the style of them, but I got one in white and one in pink, and I've had these for years, and they're metal with, I believe this is resin, but they're all metal. And I want to say, oh, I changed out the nibs on both of them actually. I'm just looking here on the white one. I believe it looks like I changed them to goulet nibs. This one's a fine and this one's an extra fine, but I believe these Picasso pens come with a medium Chinese nib because they are Chinese branded pens. And yeah, these are my first fountain pens because I just wanted to try it out, but I also didn't want to spend the money on fountain pens. And I like the size of these, and I like the fact that they're all metal and resin. They're very sturdy, and the original nibs actually wrote really well. Surprisingly, they did. I think both of these have, yeah, they do have the converters in them, and I think it's just a standard converter. The original nibs wrote really, really well. I just really like a finer point, so I ended up buying the equivalent. I don't even know what number it is. I think it's like a number 6. The equivalent goulet nib in fine and extra fine just to try it out. But I actually haven't used these pens in years, but they were my first fountain pens. And then I bought this off of Jet Pens. This is, I believe it's a Regal pen. It's another, like, I think it's a Chinese brand, and it's one of the cheaper pens. I think this one was about $19. And it is this turquoise one. It's very slim. Again, it's metal and resin. And I believe this nib is, oh, I don't even know what size nib this is. I really don't. It's probably a medium nib, but this pen, so I think I must have dropped it. I don't know, but it actually, it bleeds, or it leaks from like this part of, I think, the top finial. I don't know why. So I don't use this pen anymore, which is unfortunate because I do like the size of it, and the color is just perfect, and I love how it feels. I really do like how these metal resin pens feel. They're kind of heavy, but yeah, so these are my first fountain pens that I don't actually use. So they just live here in this Sailor box on my shelf. Now I'm going to talk about my Sailor pens because I do have 3 of the, I think these are like the low range pens. These are the ones with the stainless steel nibs, because I cannot afford a fancy Sailor pen. And honestly, I like the Sailor pens simply just for aesthetic, which I don't think you should like a pen for that, but I do. I don't like them for writing because the converters are teeny tiny, and I think this one has a converter, this one has a converter, and I think this one has a cartridge, but they're like teeny tiny. I think the cartridge holds more ink than the converters, and that is why I don't really use my Sailor pens, to be quite honest. This one, oh my god, I have ink that dried up here. If you can see, don't do that. I think they're all like a medium fine or whatever that size is. I think that's what all of the Sailor nibs for these type of pens come in. But I will share with you the ones that I have here. So this was my first one. This is the Sakura. It's the cherry blossom one. I don't remember what like the name of this pen, but it is the low range stainless steel one, and the color is Sakura, which is cherry blossom. And I do have a cartridge in this one, and I actually did buy a converter as well. I just left the cartridge because I have a black ink in here, but it's a stainless steel, and I believe the nib size is that medium fine, or fine medium, medium fine, but it's a Japanese nib, so it is very small. I would say this nib is equivalent to a 0.5, which is wonderful. This one I absolutely adore. It's the same style pen, same stainless steel nib. This one is the Yozakura, which is the night cherry blossoms, and it actually, there's a matching ink that goes here, and I think that's what this was inked with. It's the Sailor Shikiori Yozakura ink, which is one of my favorite inks. It's actually the ink that I have in this TWSBI. It's supposed to go in this pen, and I think I did last ink this one up with that ink. And this one's very pretty. And again, same nib size. And so this one is a custom Sailor pen that I made in Japan. There is a store in Ginza called Ancora. It is a fountain pen store. It sells primarily Sailor inks and Sailor pens, but they have like a little kind of build your own fountain pen lab there, where you can pick from different Sailor parts from the low end range, and you can assemble a pen. Like, you can put all the pieces in your tray and everything, and then you give it to one of the workers and they assemble it for you. So of course I had to do that the last time I was in Japan, because that is so cool. And so this is the one that I ended up making. It has this blue on the cap, everything. I picked, you know, silver piece, like hardware, white cap. The bottom is like a teal green, and then I picked one of the specialty barrels, which was sparkly, and it does come with a converter. I believe it comes, or you can choose the converter. That's what it is. You can choose the converter, and I got that white. And again, it's that same stainless steel nib. I think this nib, yeah, it's a medium fine. All of these have a medium fine. This one has, you can't really see it, and like even if I focus it, you're not going to be able to see it, but it has Ancora on the nib, because that is where I made this pen. But this little band here says Sailor, because these are all Sailor pieces. And so these are the Sailor pens that I have, and they're super cute, and I love them so much. I just don't like writing with them, because when I write, I tend to write a lot, and honestly, one of my least favorite things to do with fountain pens is refill the pen, and I have to refill these often. And so that brings me to the next pen that I want to talk about and show you that I have in my collection, which is this tiny little baby that I love, that is so freaking cute, that I got at Yoseka because it matches the Sailor Manyo Fuji ink so well. This is what it has in the converter. It has that ink in here, and it's so tiny. This is a Pilot Prera, and it's so cute. It's like the best pocket pen, I think, that I've tried, at least. I got a medium nib because that ink is so light and I want to see it, so I got a medium nib. I absolutely hate the fact that I have to continuously fill this converter up, because it runs out of ink so fast, because the Pilot converters suck. They're maybe smaller than the Sailor ones, I don't know, but it's cute. It's a cute pen, and I absolutely adore it, and it sits in my planner, and because it's tiny and cute and stuff, but yeah, it's not practical for me, but that is also in my collection. And now to show you my pride and joy part of my collection, which are my TWSBIs. I am a TWSBI whore. I will probably collect every TWSBI. Right now, my palette is very blue and green because those are like my favorite colors. I would love a pink one. I think I fell into the whole fountain pen world after that beautiful special edition pink one, baby pink one, and so hopefully they come out with a cute little pink one sometime in the future, because they're always coming out with colors. But these are my pride and joy because they are piston filled, and they hold a ton of ink. Like, look at this one. The whole barrel is full of ink. And I absolutely love that because very rarely do I have to fill these pens up. Like, it takes me a very long time to empty them out. And that's because I switched through them. So how my pen system works, normally, like, these are the ones that I'm currently using. I'm not using any of these. But how usually I go is that I try to match the ink with the color of the pen. So for instance, my Pilot has that Sailor Manual Fuji ink in it because it matches the little finials. This pen is also filled with Sailor Manual, and that's because I have to find a better ink for this pen, and this is the Purple Glow, and it is a extra fine, which is not it's not a good ink. It's not a good nib for this very light pastel ink, but for the moment, it is momentarily filled with Sailor Manual Fuji because I love that ink and I haven't found another ink that sort of matches this color yet, but it's a purple ink for a purple pen. And yeah, this is the Glow Purple, so in the dark it glows. It's supposed to glow blue, but I think it needs to be sitting in the light long enough to do that because I tried and it slightly glowed, but not really because I think it needs more light on it. But this is my newest addition. Actually, my first TWSBI was actually the mint green TWSBI Echo T pen. I think this is the only Echo T that I have, which is sort of like the student TWSBI Echo because it has a beautiful indentation on where you rest your fingers so that you can rest your fingers correctly in, I guess, the right way to write with a fountain pen. So it has that, and so if you, a TWSBI Echo's hexagonal, the Echo T has a little triangle, but this is my first one, and I got it at Yoseka, and it's a medium. I didn't want a medium, I wanted a fine, but they only had mediums in stock, so I bought it, and it's currently filled with Diamine Celadon Cat, which is my favorite ink probably ever, and I absolutely love using this. So what I found, I will say the TWSBI nib sizes, they write a little bit thicker than a Japanese nib size. So the Pilot Prera, the medium, is much finer than this TWSBI medium. This one, for me, it writes more like a fine, which is a 0.5. So this might be a 0.7-ish, roughly. I prefer writing with TWSBIs. One, mostly because they hold a lot of ink. And what I tend to do when I'm buying TWSBIs is I buy with an ink in mind, usually. A lot of these TWSBIs were gifted to me. I would say these three were gifted to me, and these are the ones that I bought myself. And what I do is I just match the ink to the barrel color. So Celadon Cat is a very light ink. And I found that with the lighter inks, it's better to put it in a wider nibbed pen. So a medium nib TWSBI will show the properties of that sort of light pastel-y ink better than, say, my extra fine, right? The extra fine won't show it as well. And so once I realized that putting a lighter ink in a medium nib pen was kind of like writing with a darker ink in an extra fine, I was like sold. Like I don't discriminate over the nib sizes anymore. So these are my TWSBIs. Again, this is my medium. Let me see. I know, okay, these are extra fine. Those are extra fine. This is a fine. I think this is an extra fine. Okay. I'm just separating them. So I have one medium TWSBI, I have 2 fines and 3 extra fines. And so yeah, this was my first one that I ever got. And I think my second one that I ever got was this one or this one, I don't remember. My friend Andy got me this one, which is a fine nib, and it is the white one with just the silver hardware. And then this one is the Persian green, I think that's called, and it is in an extra fine. I also got this, I believe, from Yoseka. And so my white one, currently, it has the Sailor Shikiori Yuzakura ink in it because I really want that plum colored TWSBI because I think it'll be a perfect match for this ink. And I would love to put Diamine's Earl Grey in this one. That would be my perfect matching for that. This one has, what does this one have? This one has Diamine Aurora Borealis in it, because I think it's a perfect match for this green color. My second find is this one. I believe this is the newest sky blue one. I also got this one at Yoseka, and it's a find. And I think, oh man, I don't know what ink I have in here. This was an ink that Daisy at Yoseka said would match. It is a Sailor Shikiori ink, and I think it's Akira. I do not know. It is a blue ink. I realized that I don't use this pen literally at all because I don't really like writing with blue ink. I prefer the ink to be more green tinted, but also this blue ink is really bright for me. And so I'm gonna have to find a more muted, I think, blue ink to put in this pen. But this is that one. And then the last two are extra fines. This one is the Amazonite pen, and it's gorgeous. And I want to say Andy also gifted me this one. It's absolutely gorgeous. And what I have in here is I have a Sailor ink that I got in Ancora. I think it was exclusive to Ancora, and it's called Electric Aqua, which is sort of similar to this blue, but green. And I also don't use this as much because I'm not a big fan of that sort of almost neon-y type green. So I am gonna have to find a different green color to put in here. But that is how I have them filled. And then last but not least is my newest addition. This is, again, the Glow Purple that has the Sailor Manyo Fuji ink that I need to find a better ink for. I need to find a better ink for this pen. Yeah, I need to find a purple that I like. And since it's an extra fine, I feel like it needs to be on the medium to dark side so that it can show well. Because right now the lighter inks don't really show super well in that pen. But I have all of my TWSBIs inked up. What I find is, like, these are, like, I think they're all inked, but these sort of pens, they tend to dry out really quickly. And I think it's just how the pens are made. I find that when I leave all my TWSBIs inked, and I don't use them, they do not dry out, which I absolutely love, which is another reason why I love TWSBIs, because I'm not a proper fountain pen user. Like, I don't take care of my pens very well, if you've noticed, but I love just, you know, putting ink in them, forgetting about them, and then having them ready when I want to use them. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and quickly show you my fountain pen collection. I'm gonna actually spread them all out just to see, because I actually don't know how many I have. I have 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh, I have 13 fountain pens. These are my pens. And again, I have a few TWSBIs that are on my list. I really would love that plum onyx one to put this red ink in. And I would also love the, oh my god, I think it's like slate blue. That one was really pretty. But I also would really love a pink TWSBI. I would really, really love one. And I was thinking the ink that I can put in here would be the Lady Gray, the Diamine Lady Gray, which is a new color. It's like a grayish, purplish ink, and I think it would look really cute in this one. Anyway, so those are my fountain pens here. Yeah, how many of you are fountain pen users? I know my channel is like a mixed bag of sort of art journaling, scrapbook, planners, journaling, all kinds of things. And I know a lot of these hobbies sort of overlap, but yeah, let me know. Let me know if you're a fountain pen user and what pens you use. And if you would like to see my ink collection, which is growing. I want to say I have more pens than I have inks, which is surprising, but yeah, I'm not like I haven't like fell deep into that whole fountain pen ink rabbit hole, and it could be dangerous. It really could. But again, I really don't like changing inks from a pen. Once I have a pen and I have the ink that goes into that pen, that's the only ink that goes into that pen, right? This one will change, obviously, because I don't want this ink in my white pen, and same with this one. And I think I need to find some new inks that I like better to go into those. But everything else, you know, mostly my TWSBIs, if I find an ink that just matches perfectly with the barrel, that's the ink that it will forever be inked with, because that is just how my brain works. I don't know, is anyone else like that? Anyway, that is my fountain pen collection. I hope you enjoyed this very quick look at all of my pens. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.